Hey, oh my gosh, we're here live, Tuesday Night Live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just making sure everything's good to go. Welcome, everybody. Oh my gosh, so many people are here right now. Thank you all for joining. As you know, the Cruel Jewel 100 happened this weekend, and now I'm back with you guys, ready to break it down, answer any questions that you guys have about the race. This will also probably, if you're, this will stay up on the channel. So if you're watching it on the replay version, thank you for joining as well. So yeah, we're going to roll the intro, let a few more people join in, and then we'll start taking questions and just going wherever you guys want to go with this. Here we go. All right, who's in the house tonight? We got John is here. Can't wait to hear how this beast of a race went down. Awesome. Eduardo is here. Happy Tuesday. Sarah O is here. Congratulations on an amazing race, Ryan. It was so fun to watch your progress over the course of the race. Really looking forward to tonight's recap. Thank you so much. For those of you that followed live, I just can't believe probably how long that took you guys to follow me live. 39 hours. So yeah, thank you. That's so cool. David Sachs is here. Hello all. Fernando's here. Hello everyone. Justin Turnbow checking in from Tulsa. So excited to hear all about it. Awesome. Francis is here. Happy Tuesday from Phoenix. Plus 33. Congrats, Ryan. What an amazing accomplishment. Can't wait to hear all about it. Joel, hi from Seattle. Awesome. What's up? Leafy Bean Yoga's here. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Aaron Townsend, way to go at CG. You got so much game. You need a referee. Victoria, Texas. Awesome. Sarah O says, let's hear about the enduro. How did it hold up for you? Yeah. So, I guess we can, I don't know, I don't really have I figured I'd just kind of talk about how the weekend went, just kind of how the race went, talk about gear. I'm sure a lot of people have questions about gear. And then, whatever you guys want. But first, I want to do this cool. Oh my gosh, there's already a couple super chats that have come in. Holy cow, guys, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Laura Bellman, congrats, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you. And Sam, what's up? Finally catching on a live stream live. Thanks for giving me weekly videos. Congrats on the race. You put out audio of these on Spotify. Yes, they eventually will end up there. I'm kind of backlogged right now because these all do get recorded on audio as well. And then I try to put up definitely all the ones that where I interview someone. But some of these that are just kind of just solo shows, I want to be putting those up as well. So this one will go up for sure. Hopefully real soon. But first off, I think probably what most people okay, so this is the buckle. Holy cow, guys, this is massive. This is so heavy. And I don't know, like just having this, like seeing this like online and everything, and like seeing other people talk about like how big it is. And then once you finally get it, like at the finish line, I was like, it was so heavy. Like some of my other buckles over here, and I'm going to put this one up over here in just a second. But I just kind of want to talk about this one just a little bit. And just like kind of like how special this one is, because this is really like 2 years in the making for me. Like, as you know, as a lot of you know, 2020, I signed up for this race and trained. Well, really 2019, I signed up for the race, the 2020 version. Started training in the winter of 2019 through the winter of 2020. And then, you know, the world shut down, all the races got canceled. So this one, we had the option to either defer or like drop out and re-sign up. So got into the 2021 version and, you know, started that whole year of training for it again. In between, I did No Business 100. Most of you guys know that. But that was just kind of like I was looking for a fall race to use my training during. But this one right here, the Cruel Jewel 100, this buckle is so, and it's got the course profile on it, which it just looks like a saw, honestly, because that's all it is. It's all up and down. Like there's no flat. There's no flat in this course. None at all. So yeah. I did do something kind of special. I hope it all works. So we're going to go to the buckle cam here, and there we go. Look at that. Okay. And I'm going to go put this up over there. There it is. All right. So right behind, I've got Run Rabbit Run, got Hallucination 100, No Business, and Grindstone. So there it is. Look at that. So pretty right there. Oh my gosh. And it also like dwarfs the rest of them. I'll probably end up putting it in the back eventually. I don't know, like, because it's so big. And just the way the camera is, it kind of like looks like there's only light on like part of it. And like, that's kind of true, but yeah. All right. So we'll go back to that from time to time throughout the live stream, just to like check out the buckle cam again. But yeah, let's see. I do a couple questions. Oh, Sarah, you asked how the Enduro held up. Really good. Like I was very, very impressed with the Enduro. I'm still wearing it right now, and it's still, so like I charged it the morning of, just cause I wanted to see what happened when you had 100% battery. And actually like somebody, commented on one of my videos. They were like, and I happened to see it the morning of the race because it didn't start. And so they said, hey, Ryan, you should update the firmware on your Enduro because they caught a bug where when you save an activity, sometimes it corrupts the file. And so I was like, well, that would not be cool. If I save my, you know, Cruel Jewel activity and it corrupts the file. So that morning I like updated the firmware, and it wasn't like the easiest process with Garmin because the app wasn't like, normally Garmin releases a firmware update and over the next couple days to a week or so, like your app will download it and then it'll just transfer it like overnight or something. And it should be a pretty seamless process. But if you want to like find an update and download it, you have to plug it into your computer. So I did that, did the update, charged the battery up to 100%, and then started the race and finished it 39 hours and 9 minutes later, and it still had 49% battery. Like full everything, full GPS, heart rate, all that. So I was even using the map function like every once in a while to just make sure, because since this course was kind of like an out and back, just to make sure that we were still like on the right path. Every once in a while, like I would check in on that, just the breadcrumb trail. But yeah, I really loved it. It's super light, 55 grams, I think, including the band. And part of that is because of the band, because it's just like a fabric with Velcro. So it's actually really, really comfortable. Like I never had any issues with it. The only thing I would say though is when you start sweating, like the band kind of like expands a little bit, and so it kind of slid down my wrist, and I had to adjust it like one time a couple hours into the race. Never touched it again. But it was really, really impressed by this watch. It's not for everybody because it's either $800 or $900 depending on which one you get. I got the titanium one that is a little bit lighter, but also more expensive. So yeah, really happy with it. Leafy Bean Yoga is a new member of the channel. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. There we go. There's a new animation for you. Leafy Bean Yoga, new member. Thank you so much. Yeah, I am just so like, for those of you guys that don't know, like members of the channel are supporting me financially in a way that's like Patreon. It's just all done through YouTube. So if you want to join, you can go to below any video. And actually we have another member of the channel that just joined, Breno Marana. So thank you so much. But yeah, you guys are awesome. James says, congrats on the Jewel. Are your legs still working? Yeah, actually, my legs are not too bad. The feet are what is the problem. John Truelove's here. What's up, John? He crushed it. So amazing to see him finish so strong. Yeah, so John was there, and he crewed me for the first 50 miles and then paced me for the last 56. And there was a couple other Indiana people there, and he ended up kind of by default crewing them as well, which was not originally asked of him, but he just did it anyway because that's the kind of guy he is. Because all of us Indiana people were kind of close together for at least the first 30 or so miles. And so those three crew stops, 20, 25, and 30, we were actually all in those aid stations at the same time, which was really cool to see, really encouraging. And then I ran with my friend Matt Cantrell for the first about 55 miles or so, which was just a blast. Really, really good to have a friend to like go through that first night with. So that was awesome. What's up? Dalen Ricks is here. Marky Mark is here. Nicholas Bodner's here. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Let's see. Jason Braley says, hello, Ryan from Boise, Idaho. How'd you do? How were the Evos? Actually, funny story. I didn't even use the Evos. So my shoe choice going into the race, I had used like the Nike Wild Horse 7. I'd used the Hoka Speed Goat 4, the Evo Speed Goats, and I used a couple other trail shoes that didn't make the cut, but it was kind of like down to those three, and then it was down to the Nike Wild Horse and the Evo Speed Goat. But I had put more time in with the Wild Horse, and I really trusted them on hills. I really liked the heel on the Wild Horse. The Evo Speed Goats had a little bit bigger heel, and I just felt like the Wild Horse just kind of like fit me better. The upper was super comfortable, so I wore those and never changed for the whole race. Wore the same socks, same shoes for the whole race. I changed shirts once, and that's about it. So this was actually a pretty simple race gear-wise for me. Like I had a lot of gear, I just didn't use much of it, which is good. I didn't ever really feel like the need to change a whole bunch of stuff up. Like I was just kind of, what I was wearing was working. I wore the Salomon Sense 5 Pro vest, and that was awesome. I started with the quiver on the back for your poles, and that was cool because for the first, like, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 miles, I didn't use poles. I just kind of like wanted to get into the flow, wanted to get into the rhythm of running. And in those first couple miles, like you're super fresh and you don't need poles. What's up, Brett? new member to the channel. Thank you so much, Brett. That's awesome. Brett actually also ran the Cruel Jewel 100, and I got to meet him before the race, so that was awesome. Thank you, Brett. But then about 4 miles, it was probably more like 3 miles in, I pulled out the poles, and maybe earlier than that, maybe like 2, but pulled out the poles and never put them back in the quiver. They were in my hands the entire rest of the race. And so at the first drop, at the first aid station, I took that quiver off the pack and tossed it in the car. It was cool having it, and I think for a race, it worked really well. And for a race where there was going to be like long, flat sections where you don't need poles, I'll definitely use it again because I really liked it. I like having the poles in the back better. A lot of packs, you can put your poles up front. I don't know. I like throwing them in the back, kind of like forget about them when they're back there. Don't have to like stare at them. They won't stab your face if you fall. Yeah, like gear was just pretty simple. The Wild Horse, like I did get a lot of blisters, but I think that would have happened with whatever shoe I chose. I'm pretty, like, I know my feet pretty well, and I know the limitations of my feet at this point doing after, a couple hundreds. And I think if I was wearing the Speed Goats, I would have had blisters. Wearing the Wild Horse, I had blisters. It was just like the downhills were so insane. Like they were, I mean, you're either going up or down in this race. And a lot of it's steep. Some of it's not. But a lot of it is very steep. And I didn't train. I can't say that I couldn't train steep downhills. I just didn't, because there's not very many places to go do it, and I would have had to drive everywhere. So I could have driven, I could have driven a couple times a week to go do repeats on 100-foot hills, but that just wasn't in the cards for training this year. I was able to get a ton of a ton of uphill on the treadmill, and just plenty of hiking training. And that actually, really, I can't say enough good things about my uphill training going into this race. Just really confident in how it worked. It was, even towards the very end, I was feeling tired, but okay on the uphills. And I felt like, especially in the last couple, maybe 6 to 10 miles, I was feeling like I could still power up them. And a lot of it has to do with poles. Like, it's just, a lot of it's pole technique. There's a lot of wrong ways poles that don't help you very much. And there are some good ways, like right ways to use poles that help you a lot. And so I'm thinking I'll probably do a video on like right and wrong ways to use poles, because I just saw so many people, like everybody had poles, but so many people just using them in a way that probably was creating maybe more work for them than not using them. Or maybe taking a little bit of load off their legs, but then just putting a ton of load on their arms. And I heard a lot of people complaining about their arms being sore. And yeah, so there's definitely ways that don't help much, and there's ways to do it right that help a lot. So I'll probably do a video on that soon. But yeah, I used the Lecky Micro Trail Pro poles, and they were awesome. Like, they have this little glove, sort of like a little glove that you put on, and they clip in. So you don't even have to hold on to them. When they're clipped into this glove, they're just there. And so that, like, those poles, like, they're more expensive. I think they were like $150, which is a lot for trekking poles, but they're made out of carbon fiber, so they're super light. They pack down really well, and they have these gloves. They come with this integrated system, and that helps a lot because 50% of the time you're pulling the pole forward, and you actually don't even have to hold on to it during that. Like, you can just move your arm and it comes with you. Other poles, you kind of do have to put a little pressure on to hold it. Not bad, but any type of energy savings in races like this help a lot. And then also, when you're pushing down, you don't have to grip on as tight either, because it's just like, it's connected to your hand. The only bad thing about this system, and something that did really scare me for about the first half of the race, and then I kind of got over it, and I was like, if I die, I die. But if you start falling, there's no way to get the poles off your hand. Like, they're connected. There is no like quick release system that happens in an accident. So if I did start falling and one got jabbed in the ground, like, my arm was going to stay there. And so that was really scary. So and that's just with these poles, like, they just don't have a system like that. So the first half of the race, I kind of like unclipped them and just like held on to them during the downhills. And that helped a lot. So that if I did fall, I could just like let go of them, and they would, just like fall to the ground, and like I wouldn't like twist or break my arm or anything. But yeah, so that's pretty much the gear rundown. We'll see. Let's shout out a couple people. Rob Foster's here from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Chris Neo, what's up, man? I don't think I ran with you, but I definitely saw you there. You were way ahead of me. Congrats, Ryan. Steady run and nice finish. Thank you, Chris. What's up? Gypsy Rose is here. Hi from rainy Wisconsin. Lambo's here. My fellow Hoosier smashed it. Nice. Okay, here's a question from John Cogburn. What part of your training do you think helped? What parts would you change for next time? Okay, so yeah, kind of like tagging on to what I was saying earlier about the treadmill training. I have so much confidence in that I maximized my available time and got like what I got back from that was so huge. And so just getting the treadmill, and in the grand scheme of treadmills, it's not a nice treadmill. I mean, it's not a super fancy treadmill. It was $1,000. There's nothing to it. It's got speed and incline, and that's it. It doesn't have a nice screen. It doesn't have anything. Like, there's some workouts on it. I don't even use them. I just would put the treadmill up to 15% and hike. That's as high as it went. But you guys can check out my Strava. Like, I committed to it, and I put in nearly 300,000 feet of vert since January 1st, just hiking up. And I have to say, like, it really, really helped for this race. And I don't know, John might remember things differently, but I only feel like there was a couple hills towards the end where I actually ran out of gas. And the rest of the uphills, I felt like I stayed consistent for most of them. There was it was either one hill we stopped twice, or maybe two that we stopped and sat on a log for like 2 minutes, so I could just like calm my heart rate down, catch my breath. There was one where I was starting to get dizzy and kind of like swerving pretty bad as we were going up, and so we had to stop, and I just had to kind of reset. He gave me a piece of pineapple, which really helped. But every other uphill just felt really, really good. So I would say that really worked. Marky Mark says, you're going to need to do some weightlifting to wear that buckle. Yeah, let's check out the buckle cam again. There it is. There's the Cruel Jewel 100-mile finisher buckle. It looks like it's going to eat the Grindstone 100 buckle, like for lunch. Like, it doesn't, like, they're no match, those buckles. The races are, the races could, the Grindstone could put up a good fight against Cruel Jewel, but as far as the buckles go, they're no match at all. So, all right. Ultra Dad's here. What's up, brother? Man, you smashed it too. Yeah, like 29 hours and something. Gosh. Crazy. Platts 33 buckle cam. That's awesome. Yeah. I think I'm like way behind on comments, but you guys are awesome. Okay, Brett, what was the toughest part of the course in your opinion, Ryan? Duncan Ridge on the way back was rough. Okay. I have a very strong opinion about what was the hardest part of the course. And I don't know if this was part of the Duncan Ridge Trail, but it was that 7.2 mile section that ended up feeling a lot more like 8 on my watch. On the return trip, it was long in between aid stations. I think our time was maybe close to or over 2 hours in between aid stations, and just up and down. But yeah, that was the worst section for me. The road sections were pretty bad too, because I was caught off guard. I thought somewhere that I had heard that the road sections were dirt roads, like mountain dirt roads or something like that. And I actually went back to the race packet, and it just says there's 12 miles of mountain roads. And somewhere along the line, I had interpreted that as that these are dirt roads, but they're not. They're like pavement, and they're highways. So there's a 5 mile section, kind of somewhere, I don't know, like around mile 40. Then you hit it again on the return. And then there's another, like maybe 2.5 mile section, 2 mile section or something right before the aid station, at the turnaround point. But they're highways and it's pavement, and during the night, it wasn't a problem with cars. But during the day on the way back, there was cars like constantly. And so, yeah, that hurt my feet a lot. I wasn't ready for that. And I took those parts really easy. Maybe should have pushed a little bit on that, but I honestly really have no regrets about this race. I was just caught off guard with the pavement, and then knowing it was 5 miles straight of pavement, it was tough. But yeah, there was that one section towards the end. Ended up being, I felt I feel like on my watch, it was closer to 8 miles, and it was like mile 92 to 100. And then there's this sign that I actually missed. I didn't even see it, but someone took a picture of it, and I saw it on Facebook. But it says, this is mile 100. Any other race, you'd be done by now, but not the Cruel Jewel. You still have 6 to go. But then it ended up being 108 on my watch. Dave's here. What's up? Nice work, Ryan. Thank you. Sarah O says, did you have any hallucinations on this run? Yes, I did. None that were like super exciting or crazy, but there was only one, and it lasted for like maybe a minute. It was on a long climb in the middle of the night. And I think one of the reasons why I didn't have as many hallucinations as in Grindstone was because I was a lot better trained for this race. But also, I don't know, maybe several different reasons, but I was wearing a headlamp and a waist lamp. So it was just brighter, and I didn't have as much tunnel vision as I have in the past during the night, during hundreds, like during any of the ones I've done. I do kind of get like this, like pretty like tight tunnel vision towards the end of the night, but I didn't experience that at this race. And it was because my waist lamp was kind of like a floodlight, and it was really consistent. Like wherever I turned my head, I still had light on the trail, which was really nice. And then my headlamp was pointed wherever I was looking. But the question, did you have any hallucinations on this run? It was one, not really exciting, but I was looking at the ground hiking, and like it was all rocks. And then the rocks kind of started to look weird. They didn't really look like rocks anymore. And then all of a sudden I started seeing road signs that I was walking over. And it was like one and then another road sign and another road sign, but they weren't like anything I could tell. Like one of them was like, it showed water with like some legs sticking out of it, and it said something. I couldn't read what the word said. And then another one was like some warning symbol. And I think it was like my brain trying to tell me to, I don't know, like take a nap or sleep or something or slow down. Yeah, Yeah, it was, it lasted for maybe a couple minutes, and I told John about it. But yeah, that's the only hallucination that I had. Right. Yo-Yo on the Trail says, congrats, Ryan, on Cruel Jewel. It's great to see you finish after all the training vids. Thank you so much. Somebody said something. I can't find it again, but somebody said something about thanks for showing them the Ultra Pacer website. Yeah, that's a great website. You should all check it out. Just Google, like, that's what it's called, right? Ultra Pacer? Yeah. Just Google Ultra Pacer website, and you can plug in your race and plug in aid stations, and it's awesome. All right. Okay. Bagel Bandit with the question of the day. So, with 130 people watching live right now, how did your stomach do during this race? Not good. The first 30 miles were pretty much fine. I was eating, kind of like what I wanted, what I intended to. I was drinking what I intended to. I wasn't overdoing it. I wasn't underdoing it. Felt like I was hydrating fine. But then at about the 30-mile mark, about, 30 or 40 minutes after the sun went down, I just started to feel not great. And I could feel my stomach like sloshing around a little bit. And I was like, oh, great, this is happening again. And, but I just accepted it. And instead of trying to like hold it off as long as I could, I just, as soon as I felt sick, I puked. And it was really, really funny, like the timing of it, because I was hiking up this mountain with Matt, and we made it to the top, and it was like this really cool fire tower, like in the middle of this clearing. And he was like, whoa, look at this fire tower. Like, this is so cool. And then I was like, yeah, it looks, and then like just lost it around the side of the trail. And then a couple other people were passing. They were like, okay, you okay? You need anything? I was like, no, and then, after I was done, just got up, kept walking. And then, that happened about 4 or 5 times through the night. But I didn't freak out. I didn't try to avoid it. I just kept going. And for me, like, that worked. My stomach was able to work out whatever it needed to. I wasn't able to eat much for probably 5 or 6 hours, maybe more. But our effort level also wasn't super high at night. We were climbing, decent. We were descending, decent. We weren't pushing the pace or anything like that, though. So a different race, maybe like a flat race or something where you need to be moving quicker, that could have probably caused some different problems. But for this race where I was able to hike a lot and keep my effort level in a fairly reasonable place, it was just fine. And then towards the end of the night, the first night, I was starting to be able to eat again. I was able to hold stuff down from aid stations, because that was the other thing. Like, I would go into an aid station. I was like, okay, like, I need a couple things that are easy to eat. I need some water. I need some coffee. And then I made sure I sat down in a chair for 5 to 10 minutes during that first night, as much as I could, to try and settle the stomach, to try and get what I was getting in to settle. But yeah, about 5 times within minutes after leaving the aid station, I lost it. But it's okay. Like, I didn't freak out. I didn't worry about it. I just kept moving, and it worked itself out. And then by morning on Saturday, I was able to start eating at aid stations consistently again and keeping food down. And I was able to drink as much as I wanted. My systems just started working again. And I don't know, like, maybe that's just like part of how my body handles these races. I don't know. I felt like I took the most common kind of advice about eating and drinking and applied that to this race, and still ended up having stomach problems. So at this point, I'm just kind of going to accept that and, move forward. I need to keep working on it, but I'm also not going to freak out about it or worry about it if it does start happening. So, that's my nutrition story. By the end, I was fine, and I never felt sick again after the morning on Saturday. And then, all day Saturday, and then most of the night on Sunday was pretty fine. I wasn't taking gels anymore after that. Like, I actually just took them out of my pack and threw them in my drop bag and didn't even worry about it, because the aid stations were they were close enough apart that I didn't feel like I needed to eat anything during this race. Again, it's a lot of hiking because of how much vertical gain there is. But I felt like I was able to keep my effort level low enough that I wasn't needing food in between aid stations. Chad says, I noticed you moved up 20 places over the last 10 hours. Your training really paid off. Nice work. Yeah, that was something that was really, really cool. Let's see, the last 10 hours, that would have been, I don't know, maybe 20 to 25 miles maybe. And that's, so like once I got to mile 80, that would have been about 26 miles from the finish. I really did start to, that was my goal, was to get to 80 without blowing up my feet. And then after that, start to maybe instead like walk less, hike less, run a little bit more. And John was really good about pacing me, and telling me to run. And it's just a game. Like, you have to play the game. And I was fine with letting John tell me what to do. And we would run, 50 yards and walk, and then run another 50 yards. We would run to the turn and walk. And then we'd run to the next hill and we'd hike up it. And then we'd try to run a little bit down, but the whole time I was trying to make sure that my feet weren't going to blow up. And by that, I mean, like, I had blisters. Blisters were coming and going. That's the other thing that, over the last couple races I've done, and the advice that I would give to people is, don't worry so much about blisters. They're painful, but that's all it is. Like, you can still run on them. Most blisters. Now, I will say there's some that, you do probably need to maybe like pay more attention to if they're in like really bad spots, but kind of like around the toes, on the heels. At least for me, like if you can tell it's just a little blister, you can just keep running through it and it'll eventually not hurt anymore. So they were coming and going. But the main thing I was trying to make sure was that the pads of my feet didn't get real bad, because in the past I have had blisters form like underneath the pads of my feet. And then somewhere in the race, I don't know exactly what happens, but people just refer to it as your feet blowing up, and that's kind of what it feels like happens. And then it's extremely painful for sometimes the rest of the race. And a lot of times that has to do with just having not being able to train as much on downhills, but it could be a lot of reasons why that happens. So I wanted to get to mile 80 without my feet blowing up. And at that point, it wasn't like I turned on the gas or anything and was like, okay, now we're racing. But it was just like I put in a little bit higher effort. And then consistently towards the end, I just kept putting in just a little bit higher effort. And then by the end, in the last 5 or 6 miles, I was trying to drop John on the uphills. I don't think I ever told you that, John. But there was one or two where I was just like, I think I'm dropping him. I don't know if I ever really did. Probably not. You were probably just like adjusting some stuff, but let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit. Brett says you saw 2 bear cubs out there. Oh, that's interesting. The only wildlife I saw was a frog. Matt says, got here late. Congratulations on the finish. Did we talk about how the new watch worked out yet? Yeah, I did at the beginning. The enduro was great. Ended with 49% battery. So yeah, the only thing is okay, so this is one weird thing. I need to call Garmin customer service because the final file will not sync with Garmin Connect, but I was able to plug the watch into the computer, and then you can just like go into it through your Mac Finder. You can just pull the fit file off of there. So I just downloaded the fit file to my desktop, and that's how I put it up on Strava and Training Peaks. But it's not on Garmin yet because it won't even let me put the fit file up there. So something's a little bit weird there. But other than that, I think that's just some software, some weird thing with Garmin Connect. But the watch was awesome. John says it didn't work. I passed you. I knew what you were doing. Yeah. Ultra Dad says, hey man, sorry I'm late. Congrats again, man. Had a blast running with you and Matt. Yeah, we ran together for the first couple miles. That was fun. App 1873 says, how do you cope with feet swelling? I actually don't have that problem during races. The feet swelling happen after, like right now. And the way I'm coping with that is using, I don't have them in here, they're out on the couch, but if you check my Instagram stories, I've been using these Speedhound compression boots like as much as I can over the last, how long have I been home? Did I get home yesterday? No, I got home 2 days ago. So as soon as I got home, I started using them. And just, yeah, they're like these like, kind of like fabric. They feel like really baggy pants when you're pulling them on, but it's just the legs. But inside is these, balloons pretty much. But they're super strong. And if they fill up with air, and then they, put compression on your legs, and they're chambered. So like the pocket that is around your foot will fill up, and then the one around your lower leg, and then your calf, and then like around your quads and your hamstrings. So they're chambered like that, so they do like different like programs. I'm going to do a video review on that too. They sent them out for review. So they've actually been really great for recovery for this race. So that's what I've been doing. Not really much anything else. I took a little bit of CBD oil like afterwards, but not much. Kind of trying to keep them elevated a little bit, like at least up on the couch or something like that. Make the best of what's still around says, was it tougher mentally or physically? Oh man, that's a good question. I don't really know. Mentally, geez. I mean, the physical part was, I mean, it was very hard. And, but I was able to stay controlled and run within myself, and I never overextended. So I was able to stay smart physically and just run my race. The goal wasn't to win. The goal was to finish. I had a time goal of 40 hours, and but that was just kind of, it wasn't based off anything other than just a projection. But I was able to hit that, so that felt good. But yeah, physically I was able to stay controlled. I think I would probably answer that mentally, it probably could have been harder. But I had good people around me the whole day. Like the first half, I was running with Matt, and I kept seeing John, kept seeing like Mary and Majel, and then just a lot of people out on the trail, like introducing themselves and saying hi, which was so cool. so I had a lot of like positive energy around me. And then the second half was being paced by John. And so that was great. But this race really did, there was about probably the last 8 miles where I just got really depressed in a way that like, it was just like once I got close, once I pretty much hit that 100 miles, and it wasn't like I was like mad that the race was long. I was just like, man, like mentally I'm done. Like, I didn't mind that it was 108 miles, but there was just something right around there. And it was about 36 hours in. I remember looking at my watch and I hit 100 miles and I was just like, man, like I'm done with this race. Like it just needs to be over. But we kept moving forward. But yeah, I would say mentally, like I had a pretty tough time with the last couple hours. But nothing super serious. Never wanted to quit, which is a really good thing. And this was actually the first 100 that I never wanted to quit. So that was a pretty big step for me. Even like my last one, No Business, in October last year, mile 40 or 45, I was just like, I was coming into an aid station and I had like that thought. I was like, oh man, it'd be nice to be done right now. Like, and then kind of like just like thinking about what would happen after that and trying to decide if I was okay with that. And thankfully I didn't entertain that very long, but I had that thought, and I never had that thought at Cruel Jewel. It was always like, we're doing this, we're finishing this. And I think that's partially because, again, I had really good people around me, but also because I prepared really well. I've been focused on this race for so long. I didn't sign up for this on a whim. It was planned. My training's been calculated, like, and I was here and I knew that I wasn't racing for a time or a position. Like I was just going there to finish this thing. So yeah, I never had that. I never had a thought that like I was done. I never had that thought. Matt DeLuca says the latest firmware should have fixed the file saving issue. The bug was in 1520. Yeah, I'm at like 1610 now on the Garmin Enduro. So the file did save. I can see it in my watch. The fit file's fine. Like I was able to put it up to Strava and everything, but Garmin Connect it won't sync it for some reason. It won't even accept it if I try to upload it manually. It's weird. So I need to call their customer support and see if they can help. How Seatown fan says, how well does CBD oil work? I have no idea. I just know that it might, and I feel like it does. I feel like it does help with anxiety. Although I'm not a doctor, I'm not recommending this. I'm just telling you my experiences with it. But I also know that it is supposed to help with inflammation, so I take it every once in a while. And I think it does okay. Probably about as well as ibuprofen does. Seatown fan, how much did you sleep? None during the race. And then after the race, my body is so weird after these races. After the race, I got about 3 hours of sleep, and it was very spotty. Like I kept waking up to cramps, and my legs were spasming, and it was horrible sleep. And then we got up and drove back. I slept in the car for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then got home and like wasn't tired. Stayed up till like, well, no, I was like laying around, like kind of like, just relaxing with the family and stuff. But But, just got like a normal night of sleep after that and been fine. Like since then, like, yeah, I missed almost 2 nights of sleep. So that's probably not good for the body, but I'm pretty much fine now. So, Ultra Dad says, how is the descent off Coosa on the way back? I was not looking forward to how steep it would be on the way back. Yes, that was crazy. And John and I talked about this. I'm not going to pull up the vertical chart because it's not even right. But no, actually, maybe I can pull up. I'll keep talking, but maybe I can try and pull up like my Strava file or something to see if it will do that. But yeah, so there's this climb that's like towards the beginning, and then you hit it again at the end, and it is like it's so it like we really thought, like I thought something was wrong. Like I thought we were going in a loop or something because let's see, is this going to work? There we go. Looks like it worked. Okay, so this is my Strava file for the race, and I don't know if this is the best view of it. Okay, right here. Try to look at this. So I think this is what you're talking about right here. This drop right here towards the end of the race was massive. And as you can see, like going into, well, that's weird. I don't know why that's like way over there. But like all these climbs and descents, like, yeah, they're long. They're like, each of these lines is 500 feet. So yeah, a lot of these are like 1,000 to 1,500 feet. And then you get into here, but then, and so you go up, down, up, down, up, down, and then you go up pretty far. And then you start coming down. You're like, oh yeah, this is the high point of the course. And then you start coming down and you're just going down and down and down. And you're like, wait, we should have hit the bottom. We should have hit the bottom. Why have we not hit the bottom yet? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, this is the bottom. So that was like a 2,000 foot descent right there. And that was really, really hard on the feet. Like, and John and I were talking about just like I was like, something is wrong with the mountain. Like we went up it and now we've gone down like 3 times as far as we went up. But the thing is, like we met the mountain like kind of in the middle, or it was a ridge, and then the ridge ended and we dropped down. But yeah, this is the map right here. I guess I can just kind of explain it a little bit. Starts and ends in Vogel State Park. And you wind around, like this section right here, kind of in the first 20 miles is what people refer to as the Dragon Spine, the Duncan Ridge Trail. You can see it on the elevation profile, like right here. It's like this section that goes through here where it's a lot of ups and downs, and they're all really steep, but nothing that's like super long climb or descent. And in here is kind of like the crew aid stations where you pass these roads right here. And then you get into this part right here that's like really, this is where things kind of like get funky. So you come in here and you do a loop, and then you go to the turnaround point. It's like right up here at Camp Morganton. Now you come back. This is where I picked up John. Come back, you do another loop, and then you start going back to the start. But then you get to this section right here, and they're like, there's a sign right here that says, this is the reason why the race is 106 miles and not 100. Turn right. And you're like, okay. And then you go out here, and it's like one of the worst descents down to this aid station down here. And then you just turn around and you come right back. You get back on the trail. And then you come back home, pretty much. All the way back. And then you get back to where you started. So that's the race, profile and the map. It's pretty, like, I mean, it's intense. Like it's a mountain race. There's not a whole lot of flat, if any. yeah, not much else to say about it. Like, it's just, I didn't even really study the profile very much. I studied the map quite a bit because I really wanted to know kind of like where on the course I was. And I wanted to make sure that going into it, I had read a couple race reports where people talked about how demoralizing that section towards the end was, where you do the loop and then the out and back, and you come around, do another loop, and then you do another out and back. I had heard a lot of people say that that was like super demoralizing. And so I wanted to be ready for it, and I wanted to know what to expect, and I didn't want to be caught off guard. And so I studied that part a lot, and was fine throughout that whole thing. Like, it was just part of the race that I knew was coming. And yeah, it was really hard, but I wasn't beaten down by it. So yeah, but yeah, Dan, yeah, that descent off Coosa on the way back was crazy. And John says, truly amazing to see all the people giving you props for your channel. It had to give you a boost every time. Yeah, I mean, seriously, sometimes there was like just multiple people in a row that recognized me, and that was so cool. And even during the night, like, we would pass by a group and someone would be like, is that Ryan? And then everyone would be like, oh my gosh. And so it was like really, really cool to meet all of you guys out there. Hopefully some of you guys are watching tonight. Yeah. Let's check out this buckle cam again. Oh yeah. Check that out. The Cruel Jewel 100 buckle, 3 times the size it needs to be, 10 times as heavy as it should be. Seriously. I don't know. I should weigh it. Actually, I should weigh it. I'm going to weigh it on the scale that I weigh shoes on. Hopefully it doesn't break it. Matt LeGrand's in the house, says that elevation chart is crazy. Yeah, it is. Leafy Bean Yoga, my feet hurt just looking at this. Yeah. My feet still hurt really bad. It's so funny. Like, I'm walking around the house and I'm like limping and like swaying side to side and running into walls because my feet, I can't stand on them properly. Like, yeah, like my hips are sore, my knees are a little sore, like, you know, a few things here and there are sore, but the biggest thing is just my feet. The bottoms of my feet are just so, like, they're just painful still. And that's okay. That happens after races like this. And like, I know it going into it. It's just, there's a couple days where you just walk really funny. And so the kids are like making fun of me, and my wife especially is making fun of me. Yeah, I also have the tops of my feet are not so pretty right now because of all the downhills. You know, like, your shoes are trying to hold your feet in them. And on downhills, your feet are actively trying to rip out of your shoe. So that was fun. So the tops of my feet need to heal too. But yeah. Matthew says, haha, I love the buckle cam. Yeah. Maybe I'll keep that in the future. Nah. Buckle, Jeffrey says that buckle looks like an EKG of someone having a heart attack. Yeah, kind of does. Leafy Bean Yoga says, oops, I want to run a 100-mile race now. Haha. Yeah. That, I mean, do it. Sign up for one and just do it. Ultra Dad says, the Ultra Dad was 15th, Justin Hamilton. He's the man. Yeah. Sarah O says, too early to ask what race is next. No, not too early. Next up, I'm going out to Western States to crew and pace John, who just did that for me at Cruel Jewel. So that's not my race, but that's the next event on the calendar. That's in just about a month, a little over a month. And then the next actual race is in October, the IT Indiana Trail 100. And that'll be a very different race than this. It's pretty flat. And I'll be going more for, just to kind of see like what my potential is on a flatter course. They have, like, it's well known throughout the Midwest and possibly the country that they have some of the best aid stations of any race. And I mean, their volunteers are awesome as well. So really excited about that race. I don't know if I'm going to jump in anything in the summer, but that's a possibility depending on if we do some sort of like family vacation or not. If we do a vacation, I probably won't, just because I can't take that much time off work and stuff. But if we don't do a family vacation, I might try to jump into one of these Midwest races. Platts 33 says, so how long until you're on ultra sign up? Yeah, that is the question. I might start browsing it to see exactly what's going on in the summer, so I can have a handle on in case I need to make a quick decision. But yeah, right now, it's taking a couple weeks down. I'm not going to push it. Like, you really need to make sure that you let your feet heal, let your cardio system heal, like just all of that. Like, so much of my body needs to heal right now. And I just need to be good. And I need to, John always says, like, take 2 weeks. And I find that is, that works for me too. So that's probably what I'll do. Probably after a week, I'll see like how the legs feel on like a little, like maybe a slow jog, or maybe I'll start walking on the treadmill or something after a week. But no running really for probably 2 weeks, especially after this race with how much it beat my feet up again. Not again, but how much it beat my feet up. Motivation Theory Running says, do you think you will run this race again? Definitely not. No, I don't know. Probably not. It's a pretty much no. But it depends. It depends on how quickly I forget about all the things about how hard it was. Yeah. Oh, Dallin Rick, sorry. Yeah, I just answered your question, I think. John says, sign up for Burning River. I might. Chris Bell says, what's your day job? I work at Purdue University in sponsored programs. So I kind of work with our faculty to help line them up with getting research grants. And then I also work at my church. I do like audio production over there. So yeah. And then YouTube as well. So I kind of have a couple jobs. Joel says, I'm signed up for a race without a finish line in October. I would love to get 100 miles. It's a backyard ultra, 4.5 miles instead of 4.16. Oh, nice. Yeah, that'll get tough. That'll get tough after, 40 miles or 50 miles or so. That'll get tough. That extra 0.35 miles. Yeah, you'll have to hustle a little bit more than a normal backyard ultra. Yeah. All right, a couple more questions, and then we're going to get out of here because I am still really tired. Yeah, my feet hurt sitting on this stool. Like I need to go elevate them. Josh says, how will you change your training for IT 100 compared to CG? Very good question. Did I say CG? CJ. Oh my gosh. CJ. My training will look a lot different. I'm still going to incorporate a lot of treadmill because it's so good for my family, for me to be running on a treadmill, because I'm inside the house. If anything happens, I can be there in 1 second. There's more freedom. Like my wife can go do something, run an errand or do whatever she needs to do. And I can still be there. So it's much better for the family. So I'm still going to incorporate a couple days of treadmill training. And it's also very fast and efficient. But not as much vertical gain. Like I've done 300,000 feet since January 1st, and I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't even do another 100 the rest of the year. Maybe 100, 150. Who knows? I don't know. But I probably won't be putting a whole lot in after Western States, because there's just, there's nothing at the IT 100. It's going to be making sure that I can run a lot more. And so be a lot more, focused on, time on feet running, longer miles, longer days, instead of getting on the treadmill and hiking for an hour and a half and getting 4 miles, it'll be running for an hour and a half and, getting like 10 miles or something, maybe outside, maybe on the treadmill. So it is going to look a lot different. And I'm excited about that. Like I'm excited for the change. I think it's really good. I think it's healthy to have, different types of seasons that you go through. I think it's really good for you as a ultra runner to sign up for different types of races and train in different ways. So I'm really excited to kind of transition, out of this, really just vert-minded training, and into, more of like a running, maybe a more traditional, honestly, ultra running plan where I'm getting a lot more miles. Like I would love, to, when I get really into this training, like 70-mile weeks become more frequent. And then I can push it even up to 80, more often. For this, I think I hit 70 miles twice in this block, or in this training season, or in this training, 4 months. I think I hit 70 miles twice. And, that's sometimes you can look at those stats and you can be like, man, am I doing this right? Am I doing enough? But for me, for my body, for what I wanted to accomplish at Cool Jewel, I had, I feel like I put in, good training, and I made good decisions with the time I had. Was it perfect? No. But I did what I could, and I got that buckle. There it is. I should have had some cool sound effect, when that swirls around, but there it is. I haven't tried to wear it yet. I haven't even hooked it onto a belt yet or anything. I'm kind of afraid to, because of how big and heavy it is. Afraid I might hurt myself. But yeah. All right. Maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Bagel Bandit says, don't get off the treadmill to pick mushrooms or they may shut it down. Yeah, that's the other thing that was threw me for a big loop. My training spot got shut down for 2 weeks right during the most intense part of my training, because they didn't want people picking mushrooms. So they closed the park. So that was cool. Chris Bell says, any documentaries or 200-mile races in your future? No, unfortunately, I'm not working on any documentaries right now. But yeah, I've been over the last couple years, I've made some pretty good contacts through, the Running the Triple Crown series, people that have reached out. And, so I'm excited to, if stuff comes up, stuff comes up. I have some pretty good, connections. So I'm not worried about anything like that. I think the documentary stuff will come when it comes. But it needs to be the right thing. I have been approached by a couple that I just wasn't excited about. But I don't have anything lined up right now, and I'm okay with that. 200-mile races are not in my immediate future. I want to accomplish more. I want to accomplish a few more things at the 100-mile distance. I feel like this race, the Cruel Jewel 100, was a really big check mark. Like this was like something that has been on my list for a long time to do, because I've done Grindstone, I've done Run Rabbit Run. Those are both true mountain races. But I haven't ever done a mountain race that rivals some of these other really big ones. And like, I haven't done a mountain race that people look at and they're like fearful of. And Cruel Jewel is that. Like, and you should be fearful of that race because it's just an absolute beast. And so to be able to check this one off was big for me, because now I have the confidence that I can go anywhere and do any of these mountain races. And as long as I can handle maybe altitude, that would be the one thing that Cruel Jewel did not provide, was altitude. Where you, like out in Colorado or, somewhere in like the Alps or something like that. But I feel confident enough that I could train for and put myself on the starting line of any 100-miler right now and like be like, okay, I'm here and I'm here to finish. And I'm not, like before Cruel Jewel, I was kind of like, okay, I've done a couple of these mountain races, but I haven't done like any like true like beasts of a race. But now I have. So that's really cool. But to continue answering your question, I want to run like a faster 100-mile. Like I don't have any fast 100-mile times. And so I want to see what that feels like to run sub 24. And I think IT 100 could be where I take a shot at that. So that's the goal. And if I can get sub 24 there and I have a really good day, yeah, we'll see. But I don't think 200s are in the cards for me in the next year or two. Maybe in a couple years though. Like I definitely want to. I want to have that multi-day experience. Well, I kind of did at Cruel Jewel, but you know what I mean? Like 4 days out there. I want to see what that's like. Justin says, thank you so much for sharing your experience. Loved hearing all about it. Get rested up. You've earned it. Thank you so much. 24/7 buckle cam on Twitch. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I've thought about like, I don't know, like multi-streaming to YouTube and Twitch, and then doing just like more random stuff on Twitch. I don't know. That could be kind of cool. Matthew says 100-mile training week video would be pretty rad. Just putting it out there. Yeah, that would definitely be something that I will try to be hitting. Let's see, this race is like October 7th or something. So maybe sometime in like August. We'll see. See if the timing's right. But maybe somewhere in August, maybe peak out there with like a 100-mile week. Maybe beginning of September, but that's getting too close to the race probably. Maybe sometime in August, we'll try and do something like that. Here's Justin. Your thoughts on UTMB Ironman? I think they should have stayed separate. I think that, I've done Ironman. I have a lot of experience with their races, one full and then a lot of halves. And I don't know, like the company is just, yeah, I think it's unfortunate. That's my opinion. Just a little saddened by it. I think they should have stayed separate. I think there'll be a lot of good things that come from it. I think the races there'll be a lot of cool stuff, but they're going to get really expensive. And there's going to be a lot of things that end up happening, maybe not on the surface, that are just they'll be harder to deal with. It's not going to, those races that get bought by them are not going to feel like your typical ultras do. They're going to feel way different. So, yeah. Francis says, Cocodona. Yeah, that could be, that's the most appealing one. Like, I love Arizona. So, that could be it. Eric says, congrats to all CJ 100 why do I keep saying CG? CJ 100 finishers on the chat tonight. Yes, congrats. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining. We are still over 100 people right now. So this is like a blast. This is awesome. You guys turned up tonight. Thank you so much. I'm going to take off here, and I'm going to go jump in my compression boots and watch probably a couple episodes. I've just been chilling the last couple of days. I've been eating whatever I want. I've been watching shows on Netflix and HBO. I started watching third season of True Detective, and I don't know, the first season was freaking amazing. Second season I thought was not good. Third season, I don't know how it's going to turn out. But it's been a little boring the last couple episodes. But I'm going to go watch a couple episodes of that, get my compression boots, probably eat some snack food. And even though it's like late 10:30 at night, I don't care. I just ran, 100 miles a couple days ago, 108 miles. I'm recovering, and I'm doing whatever the heck I want right now. So thank you guys. Let's take one more look at this buckle cam. There it is. Cruel Jewel 100. Yeah, look at that profile. That is something right there. But anyway, I'm headed out. Thank you for joining. I'll be back next Tuesday, and maybe a video or two in between. So the actual race video, it'll probably take me a couple weeks to do, just putting that out there, because I like to put a little bit more effort into those. But maybe update a few other updates in between now and next Tuesday night. So that's it. Thank you for joining. I'll see you again soon. Bye.